Welcome to the Swirl to Investment News Network. News by and for the Swirl to Investment community. Hope you enjoy. Okay, welcome everybody. Sorry about the delay. Sorry about the problems. Look, my internet carrier sucks, and until I could get a new one, I'm dealing with this crazy crap. Um, but anyway, welcome to tonight's story. I hope the internet gets us through because I really want to do this story. Okay. And if you see the title, it's the Dastardly Dusty Dumpling Rip-off. Okay. And I'm going to talk about something that's happening in the world today, something that's happening with crime as we develop more and get more technology. A lot of times, well, the criminals are keeping up with the technology, right? And finding ways that they could take advantage of people. And a lot of times they take advantage of the more the more unprotected. A lot of times the elderly, the most vulnerable people in society, they'll play on that, and they'll try to take advantage of people to make a fast buck, to try to get as much money as they can. Okay, these people are criminal. They're not looking to earn a living or go out there and grind and make an honest wage for an honest day's work. They're looking for an easy way out. They're looking for a shortcut. They're looking to take advantage of you. Okay. And in today's news report, okay, I'm going to show you a couple stories where people are being misled, deceived, and taken advantage of. And as we go through this segment, I'm going to have bonus coverage. I'm going to talk about a bronze statue in Times Square of a black woman that's creating controversy. People have mixed opinions on this. Some people have some emotions about this statue, okay? And I'm going to talk about that, all right? But with further ado, I'm going to show you this young man that decided to take the easy way out and rip off one of our most, how can I say this? Most vulnerable people in America, which is the elderly, okay? And I'm going to show you this news story. We're going to talk about it, okay? But you need to be careful in today's world. A lot of scams, a lot of ripoffs, okay? And the elderly, they're not, they're up in age. Their memory's not all together a lot of times. And they're not up with the modern technology. So they're easy targets, okay? But without further ado, let me give you this story here.
With 6 tonight, a scam alert. A 92-year-old caught up in a romance.
Okay, let me get this off. Okay.
$800,000. On to at 6 tonight, a scam alert. A 92-year-old caught up in a romance and bank scam is out $800,000. Tonight, the suspect, seen right here, is behind bars charged with fraud again.
10 Tampa Bay's Aduria Chumba is in Hillsborough County tonight, where law enforcement say there could be more victims.
A 92-year-old elderly man was targeted, manipulated, and robbed of his life savings by a career criminal who really used technology and deceit to take everything from this man.
Arrested in Orlando, Hillsborough County authorities say 37-year-old Otis Swinton Jr. targeted an elderly man online, posing as a love interest to gain his trust.
Posing as a woman, and then it turned into a bank scam where he convinced this elderly gentleman to transfer funds from his investment account to a bank account that the scammer had access to.
$800,000 wiped out through forged checks, ATM and credit cards, cryptocurrency, and identity theft. Authorities say it's not the first time Swinton Jr. has done this, at one time posing as a pickup and delivery driver, collecting seniors' banking cards, claiming they were faulty.
He actually just got out of prison in March for doing similar crimes. He has defrauded over 50 people of $1 million in the Sun City area also, and he had spent 7 years in prison for all of this, and he was up to the same old criminal behavior.
To help lower the risk of scams like this, authorities say there are many trusted local resources.
All right, let me stop right there. Okay, you see what this guy's doing, right? He's taking advantage of the elderly with scams. He's developed technology, and a 92-year-old man that's lonely, and he deceived him into thinking somebody felt love for this guy. And you would think, okay, if you don't see this person, you don't have a personal connection, how could someone love you? But when you're up in age, 92, maybe his mind ain't all there. Maybe he thinks this person is real and really loves him. Okay. And, sadly, a lot of times elderly, they get old, their spouse passes on, they don't have much family, and, they get lonely, and sometimes they cling to something that they think they have, some kind of relationship. And this guy took hundreds of thousands of dollars from this elderly person, this elderly man, and it was like, I think they said $800,000. So this man worked his whole life to build this savings to just have it taken away from a scam. Okay. And if this individual put that much effort in the scamming people, maybe he could use his mind to, find ways to make money legitimately, and let me tell you, it's a lot harder to do things the right way, but in the long run, you'll be better off. Now this guy's going to prison. But anyway, let's continue.
Like right here, where vulnerable seniors can go to not just to ask questions about anything suspicious, but to connect with peers who've already been vetted and folks who are there to help.
Older adults can be lonely, can get isolated, can be depressed. These are some centers that gets older adults out of their apartments, out of their homes, interacting with other friends and developing relationships, and that is key. If it sounds too good to be true, that adage really is pretty much accurate. It probably is too good to be true.
There's no one who you should be transferring money and giving access to your account. Anytime you're giving away control, you could be potentially falling victim to a scam.
Okay, here's this Dusty Dumpling. His name is Ortiz Swinton Jr. Okay, age 37. Okay, altering or forging instrument 5 times, fraudulent use of personal information of an elderly person, fraudulent use of personal information over 5,000 or 10 but less than 20 victims, fraudulent use of credit cards over $100. Okay, so this young guy here looks like a good high value man, right? He's just doing his hustle. Well, he's hustling on the elderly. Okay. And, taking advantage. And look, elderly people are more vulnerable. Okay. A lot of times they're lonely. A lot of times they cling to whatever type of relationship they got, and they might be delusional. Okay. A lot of times, and this elderly man he took advantage of could be suffering from Alzheimer's disease, right? So, I think there's something going on here, because most people are not going to give money to people that they don't know. Or I would hope they would. Okay. But this guy has schemed this elderly man out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. And then he got elderly people to send their debit cards to him, probably saying, oh, there's something wrong. You need to mail it in. And a lot of times elderly people believe it. And it's sad. But anyway, let's continue with this.
And authorities say if you recognize Swinton or have been scammed in this way, especially in the Sun City Center area, contact the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. So, a lot of internet fraud out there. Okay. And guys, the reason I want to put this story up here is there's a lot of fraud out there. Okay. A lot of scams. Okay. Most of us have been a victim of, maybe not scammed, but our identity stolen, credit cards being used that, and not even know it. I know, like probably about 5 years ago, somebody got a hold of my credit card information and charged about $10,000 in computer equipment. And the bank knew it wasn't me, and they canceled my credit card and mailed me a new one. I didn't have to pay for it, but somehow they got my information. And I'm telling you, in today's world, you got to protect your information. Okay. Have some safeguards, LifeLock, credit monitoring. You got to be up on your finances. Okay. Because there are people trying to steal from you. Okay. And, the way crime's going today, they're not mugging you in the street and taking your money from your wallet. They're going into your bank accounts. Okay. And don't be caught up in scams. Okay. There's scams that's been going on for years. Okay. And people will tell you won the lottery or Publishers Clearinghouse and tell you, well, you got to pay the taxes. Here's the key. Listen to me. When you win a lottery or Publishers Clearinghouse or some kind of contest, okay, they take the taxes out. They take the taxes out before they give you your winnings. Okay? So you never have to pay out of pocket for the taxes for your winnings. Okay? That's a big scam going on. Been going on for years. Be careful, guys. And never give out your personal information. Your bank, credit card companies, they will not call you to ask you for information. They already have it. Okay? Never give out your information. Especially Social Security numbers. Don't do that. Okay? Don't send off your debit card. You can go to the bank and have them fix that. But the elderly, a lot of times, don't know all this stuff. So they're prone to fraud. Okay? And elderly, a lot of times, are more trusting. That's why a lot of people prey on the elderly. But they can take advantage of you too. Okay? I've seen smart people be swindled. These criminals are very good at what they do. Okay? It's just a shame if they would put the energy towards making an honest living, they would probably be successful. But the quick money's there, but quick money don't last long. Okay? So be careful. And if they say you won a prize, but you got to, like there was a scam back in the 80s and 90s where they would call people and say, hey, you want a boat, but you got to pay for the transfer cost, to have it shipped to your house. So people were paying that, but they never got the boat. Okay. And if anybody ever tells you, hey, go get a card from Walmart or CVS or Walgreens, yeah, don't do that, because they're going to take your money and they can't be traced. There's scams out there. Okay? Beware. Be vigilant. Anyway, I just want to show this. Now, my next story. Okay? This young man, he's a pimp, he's a player, he's bowling for Becky's. This young man is smooth with it. Okay? He's in Florida. He married three women at once. Okay? Talk about bowling for Becky's. But he's a high-value man. He wants marriage. He don't just want to mess around, right? Anyway, let's roll the clip.
At the same time. Tonight, facing charges for marrying 3 Florida women in 3 different counties at the same time. Tonight, those women are speaking out, saying the system that handles marriage licenses kept them in the dark.
There are no safeguards, and that, I feel like that's part of where the system failed.
He took each one of us to a county over to get married in.
If the counties did talk, that would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of money, a lot of stress.
I-Team investigator Adam Walser breaks down how this could happen at a time when online records can be viewed with a few clicks of a mouse.
A wedding usually signifies a lifetime commitment between 2 people embarking on life's journey. But these 3 Florida women learned they were on the same journey with Henry Betsy Jr. at the same time. This is
Henry Betsy Jr. Look at this young guy. That's a high-value man. He wants a marriage. Look at him. Okay? He swindled these 3 women. He was bowling for Becky's. Now, I have no problem with a black man that has a preference for white women. Hey, hey, do you. Be with who you love, who you're attracted to. Have that preference. Okay? But don't get greedy. 1 wife, 1 husband, right? Unless you practice polygamy. And look, if you want to have 3 women in today's world, as freaky as people are and anything goes, this guy could have that twisted fantasy. But he chose to deceive these young ladies, right? These women that were looking for a relationship, looking for marriage. He married 3 of them in the state of Florida. Why they didn't catch it sooner? Well, you would think, and here's the thing, ladies, whenever you get in a relationship, okay, and I'm not just talking to the Beckys that were swindled by Tyrone here. I'm talking to all women. Listen, do a background check, okay? You could find out, and I know that sounds, okay, where's the trust? But in today's world, you can't be too careful. Okay? But here's your good high-value man, right? All right, they're probably attracted to him because he's got green hazel eyes and, and he's a pimp and player and he loves Becky's. So he went bowling for Becky's. Poor Becky. And he probably, and look, I've said there's a tale of 2 Beckys, right? There's good and bad. There's good and bad in every race. But these women were looking for relationships. These were probably good women that would be a good, loyal wife to this guy. But he had to play the field. He had to pimp and play instead of being a husband, right? Okay. But let's continue.
Henry's mugshot, which is the most recent and clear picture we have of him. Michelle married Henry in Hernando County in November 2022.
Michelle looks happy. All right.
I met him on Match.com. We met in early November.
All right, Match.com. People talk about me about dating sites. What are the best? I don't freaking know. I never participated in dating sites. But there's predators on dating sites. And guys, don't get me wrong. I know I've talked to women that say they found the love of their life on a dating site. I get it. Okay. But you got to be careful. Okay. I'm old school. Any woman I ever dated, I had to talk to her. I had to approach. I had to risk rejection. I wasn't able to build a profile and, go through my phone and say, oh, I got a hit here. Oh, I got a hit here. Oh. No, I didn't have that. You either failed or you succeeded. And I think that's the best way. Me personally, I think it should be up close and personal. And it makes you stronger as a man, because when you get when you get thrown under the bus and you feel that rejection, and it does hurt, but it builds character. And then when you're accepted, you embrace it, you love it, you cherish it, right? But anyway, this young lady was taken advantage of, right? He likes white women, just get one white woman. Look, I talk about stats and people get so pissed off when I talk about stats. And look, when you speak truth to power, you're going to get attacked. And I have been attacked, okay? But if you look at the U.S. Census, if you look at Pew Research, and there's many other studies, you're going to find that Black women, white men do the best, but okay. But that don't mean everybody does the best, and they're good and evil in every group, okay? I never meant to hurt feelings, but I got to speak the truth. But anyway, I don't want to get wrapped up in that because it'll take away from the show. But anyway, this guy, he played the field. These women were really interested. They want a relationship. They were attracted to the guy. And they're probably good women. They just want to settle down, right? I don't know for sure, but anyway, let's continue.
How soon did you marry Henry?
It was very short. It was very soon. It was within about 3 weeks span.
Henry was still
3 weeks. Wow. Okay, but look, and white culture, look, we don't waste time with marriage. It's in our culture. When we, as we grow up and become young adults, we're taught that we move out of our parents' homes and we find a wife, right? And women, they find a husband, right? And we don't waste time. Look, when they say white people, when they go to college and, they'll get married right away. White people, we do that. Now people say, well, you should wait and get to know that person, wait a few years. No. I don't believe that. Okay. And look, I knew my wife 2 months and I proposed to her. Okay. I've been married 31 years. So I didn't waste no damn time at all. I knew my wife is the one I wanted, right? Now, white people will jump into marriages, okay? And I think Black people are more reserved when it comes to marriage. It's weird. It's like the Black culture, from what I see, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, it's like Black people will get into a relationship faster, be more forward, but they don't get into marriage quicker. Where us as white people, we kind of take our time, but once we're dating, we don't waste time. We get married if we feel that's what, And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but one has better marriage rates. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it at that. But we find when Black women, white men get together, they have the most successful marriage rates. Okay, but that's not what this show's about. Okay. This guy took advantage of 3 ladies and, look at the hurt he caused. And you're going to see this money involved, hurt feelings, being deceived, thinking they're going to be in a relationship, a marriage. But anyway, let's continue.
Married to Brandy, who married him in Manatee County that February. Brandy asked us not to show her face to protect her job.
I met him on a dating app. The first time I'd ever got on a dating app. He said all the right things.
When Brandy married Henry, he was still married to Tanya, who obtained a marriage license in Gadsden County in November 2020. Tanya asked us to blur her face because she's a domestic violence survivor.
Meeting him on a dating site and the way he portrayed himself, he sold the perfect person when in reality he was none of those things.
All right, Mr. Betsy, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm testimony you are giving the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Michelle gave us cell phone videos of court hearings. Henry Betsy Jr. was arrested for felony bigamy last year after Tanya figured out she wasn't his only wife.
I just started county by county putting his name in, and that's when I came up with the marriage to Michelle and the marriage to Brandy.
She found me and she messaged me, and I had no idea that she was actually still married to him.
I'm just looking because it's so bizarre. We never get discharged.
The wives say marrying Henry was easy.
You go to the records division, you apply for a marriage license, they take your information, they take a copy of your photo ID, then we got married right there at the courthouse. No questions asked. There was nothing that was flagged in the system for him having already 2 prior open marriage license.
I did the paperwork and got married all within 15 minutes.
Okay, let me stop here. Okay. It seems like in Florida, the marriage process is easy. Okay. And maybe a little too easy. I think they should have a check to see if either person has been married before or are still married. Okay. A lot of times a marriage will go through a breakup and people won't be fully legally divorced and they'll jump into other relationships, right? There should be a safety check on that, I think. When I got married to my wife, Sandy, in the state of New Mexico, there was a process where we had to apply for a marriage license and we had to get a blood test. And that was a state law. You had to make sure you didn't have no diseases, you were clean. And that was a requirement for anybody getting married, okay? My parents had to go through that when they got married. It was just a state law, and there were precautions they took. But I think in today's world, it's more easier. But there needs to be a safeguard because some people are crazy. They'll get married multiple times and go to different counties or even different states, And this guy, he loves the Beckys, but he's not being honest with Becky. And here's the thing. If he wants to be in a polygamous relationship, there are people that will go for that stuff, okay? And I'm not signing off on polygamy. I don't believe in polygamy. I think it's wrong. And I think the other thing where the woman has multiple husbands, I don't think that's right, okay? That's my opinion, okay? I think it should be one man, one woman only. Okay. I'm very traditional in this. I believe you get married one time, one man, one woman forever. Okay. That's my value. Now, let's be honest. People are human. People are corrupt. Sometimes there's abuse in the marriage and you have to leave. Okay. I support divorce when there's abuse. Okay, I do. When there's infidelity, I support divorce. But I don't like divorce. I think, we should do God's plan and get married forever. You find the one you love, you get married forever. You build a family. But we're not in a perfect world. It don't always work out that way. And I understand. But this kind of thing goes on. Ladies, be careful. Okay? These women, they fell in love with this guy, they're attracted to him and, they're in love and love covers a lot of sin, right? Love covers a lot of corruption. When you're in love, you'll overlook things that you wouldn't normally overlook. And when you're deeply in love, you will go to a point where you'll believe you can fix that person. Okay? And this goes for men and women. Okay? I've been there. I've been in a relationship that was abusive where I thought I could fix the woman, and it got worse. Okay? And it had a horrible negative impact in my life. But I was able to overcome, and I met my wife, Sandy. But I'm telling you, be careful of this, guys. Okay? Know who you're dating. Know that person. Vet. And look, vetting don't always solve the problem. You got to have standards. Okay? Don't jump into a sexual relationship right away. That's dangerous. Because if you don't really love you, you could end up with a child or children and be a single mother. Just saying. Women, it's more important that you're more critical than us men. Okay, I'm saying men need to be careful too. But this stuff, look, you know, it's uncommon for someone to get married multiple times like this, but it's happened. But there are people that will marry you and have affairs on the side. Okay? Got to be careful. Let's continue.
In Pinellas County, 2,000 people get married at courthouses each year. There is a 72-hour waiting period for Florida residents, but that can be waived by a judge, and there is no required wait for people from other states. Pinellas County Clerk Kim Burke says Florida makes it easy to get married because the state is a big wedding destination.
Does it surprise you that someone was able to be married to 3 different people in 3 different Florida counties at the same time?
Well, it does surprise me, but unfortunately, there's not really safeguards to find that out.
Burke says marriage applications are based on the honor system.
They swear that the information on the application is correct. And one of the things they have to show is that if they were married previously, how did the marriage end? Either was death, divorce, or annulment.
But licenses and marriage certificates aren't compared to documents in other counties when they're sent to the state.
Because if there were safeguards in place and there was cross-referencing on different counties here in the state of Florida, none of this would have ever happened.
His wives, who met Henry on Match, Tinder, and Stir, recently found his profile on another dating site while he was still legally married to them.
Looking for a beautiful woman that understands the ups and downs of life, is trustworthy, and no games.
His wives say they later came to believe their marriages had more to do with money than love.
The day we got married, he was like, well, we need to make your bank account a joint bank account.
We were either divorced or about to be divorced, maybe coming into something.
Child support, alimony, anything that comes with, you know, the extra perks of marrying a newly single divorced woman.
So he hit the jackpot here.
He did, 100%.
Yeah, let me stop there. Okay, listen to what these ladies said. There was money, change of money, right? Oh, well, life happens, divorces, child support, alimony, and he strung these women along. So not only was he messing with 3 women, he was also taking advantage of them financially. Okay? I mean, he was playing them like, look, and these women, they were probably, you know, that woman didn't look too old, but, you know, probably in their 30s or 40s. So, you know, they're thinking about life. They want to settle down, have a family. And maybe their other relationships didn't work, other marriages, but they still want love. They still want a good marriage. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to be careful. And the thing of it is he played on that. He played on they probably were a little bit desperate. They want love, and, you know, they're willing to, okay, you got child support and little alimony. We can work through this. When you're in love, look, you'll say, you know what, we'll work through anything, right? He played on that. And what did they end up with? Losing money, broken heart. I'm just saying. And when you're in love, your guard is always down. When you're in love, you don't look at the faults. You don't look at the red flags. You don't look at stuff that you should see obvious. Something's wrong. Oh, we got to get a joint account right away. Why? Anyway, let's continue.
Henry's financial situation appears to have taken a turn for the worst.
Do you have any source of income presently?
No, at the moment, sir.
Do you have any money in the bank?
No, sir.
Michelle and Tanya say they escaped their marriage and obtained domestic violence orders after Henry became abusive. Brandy says she kicked Henry out of her house after just 5 days of marriage. Henry finally filed for divorce from Tanya following his arrest and is now seeking annulment for his marriages to Michelle and Brandy.
Do you think there's any need to do anything else to prevent this type of thing?
I just think it's too hard. I mean, as much as we have records and so forth, you know, people are very transient. You can get divorced in another state.
Henry's wives are hoping he'll be convicted and spend time behind bars.
It's a potential that he may just walk away with probation, and that's what's really hurtful, is there's no accountability. There's nothing that is going to stop him from doing this again.
Henry Betsy Jr. has pleaded not guilty to the felony bigamy charge and has another court hearing later this month. We reached out to him, but he declined through his attorney to comment. I'm I-Team investigator Adam Wolser with photojournalist Randy Wright taking action for you.
Okay. So we're seeing some dusty dumplings, right? Deceiving people. Young man deceived elderly people to get their money. This guy, he married 3 women to take advantage of them, and he didn't have no income, nothing in the bank account. I don't know. He's kind of like a homosexual in a way, right? Get with a woman, live with her, and, you know, marry her, but 3 at once? Wow. And it's amazing the state of Florida didn't catch it till later. But things like that happen, right? I'm just saying. Anyway, let's take that down. Okay. Did I do the fair use, fair use, fair use? Okay. All right. We're using these videos for commentary, for educational purposes. Okay. Anyway. But very dusty, right? And look, if he wanted to be with Becky, be with Becky. But not 3 Beckys, okay? That's bowling for Beckys. Build back a better swirl. And that's my message to Tyrone and Becky, okay? Because their marriages are the least successful. And I don't see that. I don't say that with anger or, you know, I wish it wasn't that way. But it is. Okay. All right. Now, my last story, guys, I'm going to cover this. And listen to me. Okay? There's a statue in Times Square. Let me take my hat off. In Times Square, right? Of a black woman. Which a statue of a black woman, that's great. Okay, I love black women. A lot of us love black women. And why not have a statue of a black woman? That would be beautiful. That would be great. Right? Now, this statue, there's a lot of opinion on it. Okay? And I see both sides of it. Okay? And I'm going to give you my opinion on this. Okay? But let me roll the video so you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you do. Okay? Anyway, let me play this story.
In the middle of one of the busiest places in the world.
Okay. Sorry, I got to rewind it a little bit. All right. Here's a news story of this statue.
A new statue in Times Square we're told, turning heads. It's making people not only stop and stare, but also reflect. A rare feat in the middle of one of the busiest places in the world. Zinnia Maldonado shows us why.
At 12 feet tall, in the middle of Times Square, stands a bronze sculpture of a young woman.
It's instantly stood out. It's powerful.
It's so tall and big. The sculpture, created by artist Thomas Price, was unveiled at Duffy Square last week, and in just a matter of days, it has stopped hundreds in their tracks. Who is she? Well, technically, she's whoever you want her to be.
Me being a plus-size black woman, I kind of looking at it was just like, oh, I wonder what me as a small child would have thought looking at something like.
All right, let me stop here. Okay, there's a lot of controversy. Okay, and okay, this young lady, she's by that statue. It's a big statue. Okay, and she talks about a plus size woman, and a lot of women are plus size. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with plus size. Okay, I think you just be who you are. If you're plus size, you're plus size. Okay. Me, I could lose a few pounds. I'm a plus size dude, right? People, my enemies remind me of that. Okay. But that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with the plus size, but until it becomes a health issue. Okay. I don't mind being a chubby guy if I'm healthy, right? But reality, we should work on losing some pounds to get our cholesterol down, to be more healthy, right? We should. And I'm striving to do that. Look, I'm on a struggle, and I've been losing like a couple pounds every 3 or 4 months, right? Moving really slow. But my doctor says I got to do it slow because you don't want to shock your system, right? All right. And, but I do it for health reasons, not for how I look and all that stuff. Okay. My family loves me how I am. But here's the thing. Okay. Now, people are looking at this statue. Okay. And they're saying, oh, she's obese. This is a bad image for black women. And unfortunately, people are going to use this in a negative way. Now, the statue don't look too bad. Okay, maybe, she's got a few pounds. She's probably middle-aged. That's most American women, guys. Most American people, middle-aged, you're going to gain a few pounds. Your metabolism slows down. And unless you change your diet drastically, you're going to gain some weight. Okay. Now, looking at the statue, she don't look super fat. She looks thick. It's not, people say it's morbidly obese. No, she's not. But she looks like an everyday black woman, right? Nothing glamorous, just the everyday woman, right? And that's what, unfortunately, this is going to give black women a bad look, okay? And it's sad because I think the people that put up the statue wanted to show the everyday black woman, okay? Not the glamorous, beautiful supermodel. They weren't going to do a statue of Angela Bassett looking their beautiful best or a Whitney Houston statue. They wanted to show the everyday black woman. I get that, okay? But unfortunately, people aren't going to look at it that way. They'll say, oh, she's not dressed well, and she's overweight, and she's ghetto, and I don't see ghetto in that. But they've been saying that. I've been looking at this online. Okay? And I think with black women, you probably want to make a statue where the woman's beautiful and glamorous. Okay, like a princess. Okay, now I get the everyday woman. I get it. I'm the everyday guy. I'm just average, and I get it. Most of us are average people. Okay, I get it. I embrace that. But the thing of it is the image of black women has been so distorted, and black women have been attacked for so many years, centuries, okay? And this is an attack on black women, and they don't even know they're doing it. They want to show the everyday black woman, you know, the mother, you know, your sister, the woman in the community that's, you know, working hard, making ends meet, right? But society ain't going to look at it. They're going to say, okay, well, she don't know how to dress. She's overweight. Which that statue, she don't look like she's really overweight. Maybe thick, maybe, you know, and some people have a bigger bone structure, and I just, but this has gained so much negativity, and I don't think it was meant to be that way. And look, I get it. I embrace the everyday black woman, because the everyday black woman is out there. The everyday black woman has a big heart and a lot of love. Okay? But people are going to take this and run with it the wrong way. And I think it probably would have been better to show a woman that's, you know, a famous figure. Maybe a Rosa Parks. Maybe, you know, a black woman that's done something wonderful. Okay, I know that's not everyday people. But unfortunately, this, it's sad what I'm seeing. I don't think it's a bad statue. I just think black women, because of the stereotypes, and even in the black community, black men have put black women down. And I think with that going on, you want to put maybe an average woman, but dressed very well. It can be a plus size woman, but, you know, professional, dressed well, making it happen. Okay? And that's where a lot of black women are. They're professional, they're women of faith, they're doing amazing things. Okay? I don't know. What do you think about this? Anyway, let's continue.
That representation.
The piece is part of a series called
And let's rewind. This young lady, okay, she's happy with it because she feels it represents her, right? And I can see that. You know, she's an attractive young lady, maybe a little plus size, nothing wrong with that. You know, and I think a lot of times people that ain't perfect aren't represented, right? We'll put a statue of a supermodel and everybody will be, oh my God, that's so beautiful. But is that every person? It's not, right? So I get both sides of this, but you know, I want, if you put a statue of a black woman, in my opinion, let's put the most beautiful statue, most successful. You kind of got to. Because when it comes to stereotypes, when it comes to the media and how people have portrayed black women unfairly, you probably want something super positive because they're going to tear this statue up. They already have. You know, and I don't think it was meant to do that. You know, but anyway, let's continue.
I kind of looking at it was just like, oh, I wonder what me as a small child would have thought looking at something like that. Representation.
The piece is part of a series called Grounded in the Stars, which Gene Cooney, director of Times Square Art, says confronts preconceived notions of identity and representation.
To have this work here is making a statement, potentially asking questions about what we value as a city, as a society, and hopefully it's a tribute to our shared humanity.
Tourists and New Yorkers we spoke with.
All right, let me stop there. I'm looking at these comments. Okay. Instead of using average looking black male as an image to fight against his agenda, his politics, that white man, now you and everyone can see how kings operate and how They always, okay. The statue has features of a biracial female with a white mother. Oh, okay. I didn't see that, but okay. Nice. Notice his as won't put the dudes like him. What? Don't contribute to society, even though women, like the statue, always do support the communities in the world. Black women have every feature in the world. He wanted to showcase a stereotype image to take the heat off of black males who voted for Trump. Really? Where did we get all this? Oh, okay. Is that the creator? Is that what he was doing? And here's the thing. How does tearing down black women uplift black men? Is that a thing? Because if it is, there's something seriously wrong. And if it's designed to do that, God help us. I mean, but I didn't really look into that. I'm just looking at, I didn't really look at her features. Maybe I should
express different interpretations of what she represents to them.
Okay, I guess she could be biracial. But it's a bronze statue. I can't really. She could be a black woman too. I mean, I don't get it. Okay. But maybe you're right. I just don't understand. But I think people look at it and say, okay, they're going to judge how the statue's dressed, how much she weighs, which I don't think, it don't look bad at all. I mean, okay, you have a few pounds you could lose. Okay. And but I think it should have been more glamorous because of how people are going to view it. But anyway, let's continue.
It's a plus size woman. I'm a plus size man. I'm African American. It's the African American woman statue. So just seeing another piece for me to stop and just have a moment with was very powerful.
And maybe that's what the statue was. You know, plus size people. He said he's a plus size man. She's a plus size woman. Maybe it made him feel good inside. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't base my life on a statue though. Okay. If you're a plus size man, get a plus size woman and feel good about each other. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. It's a statue, okay? And it could be any black woman. Okay, and I get what they were trying to do. Because we should uplift the everyday black woman that puts in the work, takes care of her family, and does right? She might not be looking like a supermodel. She might be where she can lose a few pounds. That don't take away her value, right? I get that. But there's people are so critical. And here's another thing. If you're going to show an everyday black woman, how about show statues of everyday women, everyday white woman, Asian, Hispanic, maybe, a little on the plus size, looking average. I don't know. Maybe if we showed all groups of women like that, it'd be more understandable. I don't know. What do you think? Let's continue.
If you look at the eyes, it's looking straight at something. It's focused. It's purposeful.
The sculpture proves to be a well-liked juxtaposition placed among the more traditional statues in Times Square, which is the goal.
But look at those other statues. Okay, let's go back. Okay, these are white men, right? Okay, they might be elderly, but they're dignified. He's in a suit. He's got his cane. He's not wearing a t-shirt and jeans. And look at how these statues are. Don't it look like he's dressed real well? But the black woman is just every day, like she just got up and ran to Walmart to get a few things. And then she looks like she don't have a bra on. That, they probably should have worked on that. It don't look professional. Okay? You can have an average woman look beautiful. You can have a plus size woman look professional and beautiful. And now that I look more at the statue, no. You could tell she don't have a bra on. She's just in a t-shirt and if you're inside the house watching TV, that's cool. But if you're outside going to the store, you probably don't want to dress like that. Now that I look at it, okay, now I can see some negative in it. Okay, and it's not about her being plus size. It's not about her, wearing everyday clothes. But some of the things I'm looking at, I'm just saying, but look, you can tell she don't have a bra on by the statue. Like, come on, people. You could have dressed that up.
A juxtaposition placed among the more traditional statues in Times Square, which is the goal, according to officials, of placing said artwork in such a significant area.
Coming from a person of color background as well, it's really nice to see something come across as like this everyday person that looks a little bit out of place. But I also think that's because of where we are standing. It might not look out of place if everything in our surrounding reflected everyday life more to us.
From Times Square.
No, I disagree. Now that I look at it, I don't like it. I think it should be more professional. She can be an everyday woman. She could be a plus size woman. But looking at it, looks like she don't have a bra on. Looks like she's wearing combat boots. It's not really feminine looking. Now that when I look deeper, at first I'm like, okay, an everyday black woman. That's America, right? Everyday people. But there's some things there that caught my eye. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not a good look for black women. Okay? And that's not how black women are. And we need... I don't know. What do you think? To me, it could have been a better statue. Okay, I embrace the everyday woman, the average woman. I'm an average guy. We're all average, just beautiful. But come on, it needs to be more professional. And now that I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, now I get it. Now I see why it's a problem. Because before I just glanced at it, okay, so what? An average black woman, let's uplift average black women. Okay, let's uplift average people because that's the majority, right? But then I look how she's dressed. She has boots on. Do women wear boots? Looks kind of masculine. She has a shirt. No bra on. That's not professional. Okay, in your house, and nobody around, that's fine. But yeah, I don't like it. They need to redo the statue. Go ahead and do a plus size one, but make her look professional and beautiful. Make it look like she's, what black women are. Educated women. Women that are resilient, make things happen. How about that? Let's not show... Yeah. I had to look at it a minute. Now I get why people are upset. I get it. It's amazing. You can look at things, and you look. Today I was looking at videos, and I was like, "What can I talk about?" Now, I wanted to use this as an extra on my news segment. There's something good to talk about because it's controversial, right? But look, build a better statue for a black woman. Black women are the most loving, most nurturing, okay, most resilient women on the planet. Black women have the biggest heart, and they're the most loyal. Let's give black women the love and respect they deserve. Let's put a statue that defines a black woman. Let's not put some statue of a woman that got out of bed and just threw some stuff on and didn't care. That's not the black woman. Not the black woman I know. The black woman I know is very professional. The black woman I know is very loving. Okay? The black women I know dress very nice. Okay? And if you're a white man that's interested in black women, you need to get it together. You need to be clean cut. You need to dress well. Present yourself well. But be a good man too. Anyway. Okay. But that's enough of that video. That's the news reporting. Now, I think I took down the wrong one again. All right, let's show the. Well, hold on. I might have to re-pull it down. Sorry, guys. It'll take 2 seconds.
So this is the statue that's caused Rihanna. All right.
Okay, here's a TikTok video of it. And let's see this guy's opinion.
All right, guys, so this is the statue that's causing all the controversy online. And let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a 12-foot tall statue of a black woman, an African-American woman. There has been so much negative stuff said online about this. And I started watching a lot of the videos, and 99% of the negative comments and the negative videos are posted by black men. And black men that are saying this is disrespectful to black people and to black women. And then I go and look at videos from black women who 99% of them are embracing this.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you hear that, guys? He said the most negative comments are coming from black men in a negative way. He said the most positive are coming from black women. Is this true? And why is that? Look, when I look at this, I embrace the average black woman. Okay? But there's some things in the statue, the braless thing and the boots there. I was like, that's not feminine. That's not how black women dress. That was my problem. But the statue, her weight don't look that bad at all. Okay? She might not reach her body weight index, but she's not too far off, really. A lot of black women, you know, are built different than most other women. You know, black women are more curvy. Black women, you know, they have a different build. So she's probably not that much overweight. Looking at this statue, she don't look bad at all. So I thought the statue was good with that, except for the braless and the boots. That was my thing. Needs to look more feminine, like a black woman is. Okay? But that's interesting that black women are embracing it and black men are tearing it down. That have a negative outlook on it.
This looks like my auntie. This looks like me going to the laundromat. Guys, they didn't put this out here to be Rihanna or Beyonce. And I can tell you, I know why it's a good statue, because Fox News came out here and denigrated it, and Newsmax came out here and made fun of it, and OEN and all the usual suspect racists all.
Yeah, CRT, I don't embrace it either. I don't have a problem with it being a plus size woman. I don't think her build is bad. I just think the t-shirt, like the braless part, I didn't like the boots. It could have been more professional. It didn't have to be totally glamorous, but more respectable. I did, yeah. But The body shape is okay. The hair is okay. The features I think are okay. Some people say she looks biracial. I don't know. I think it could go either way. Let's continue.
Came out here and had their little jokes about it. Malcolm X once famously said the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman.
Yeah, straight up. You hear what he said? The most unprotected woman is a black woman. The most disrespected woman is a black woman. Sounds familiar, right? Didn't Malcolm X say that in the 60s? Did it get better from Malcolm X's speeches to today? Are black women more protected now? Did we learn our lesson? And when I talk about that, some people, look, there's black people that get pissed off at me like crazy because I'll show a Malcolm X video on protecting black women. Like I'm not allowed to do that because I'm a white guy, right? I don't give a damn. What he said was true. It was factual. And protecting black women is everybody's responsibility. Not just black men, but white men, Asian men. We need to protect women in our country. We need to get out of this segregated mindset. Oh, well, you know, the black woman's in danger. Well, that's the black man's problem. No, bullshit. That's the problem in our society. Women are to be protected by all men. That means all women. Okay? And black women, we need to put more emphasis on protecting black women than other women because black women are the most unprotected, most disrespected. That means we protect the black woman's image too, like this statue. Come on, let's protect her image. This is not, look, I'm all about everyday people because most of us are. But the thing of it is, black women dress a lot better than this. I'm just saying. Black women I know dress very awesome, very beautifully dressed. Okay, what do you mean undesired equals unprotected? Whatever. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's continue.
The most neglected person in America is a black woman. He made that speech in 1962 in May. And there are going to be people who have their little laughs and their jokes. And I don't think it's funny. I think that any little black girl walking by here should be proud that they have a 12-foot tall statue in Times Square of this black woman. Now, I expect I'll get some comments that are negative, but that's okay. I'm not telling you how to feel about it, I'm telling you how I feel about it. Grounded in the Stars by Thomas J. Price. He is a British black man and the artist. This is Times Square. It's the biggest tourist attraction in America.
Oh, hold on, let me stop. What's that? Malcolm X used to exclusively... Yeah, Malcolm X used to date white women. Yes. Malcolm X loved the Beckys back in the day. He did. Used to date exclusively white women, yeah. All these black power males have always worshipped every other woman except their own, even in their own detriment. Wow. Look, I think Malcolm X, yeah, he did that, but, you know, he came to his senses and realized how amazing black women were. I give him that. Well, heck, Martin Luther King was with Becky too. Barack Obama loved the Beckys too. Yeah. All these powerful black men, somewhere in their history, it seems they were at one time or the other bowling for Beckys. Don't it? It's like Frederick Douglass got a Becky too. I mean, well, she's an abolitionist, okay? She was down for the cause, but black men love Becky. I not all, but I'm just saying. And black women, look, it's about time you open up your options too. I'm just saying, because otherwise, you're just going to be a side chick or a pick me compliance. You know, if you want to live in pick me compliance or fly first class, it's up to you. But always have that option button open. I say that to everybody. Okay. But yeah, they look. You look at these celebrity people, they always had a Becky. And I think Umar Johnson's got a Becky hidden somewhere. I know it. We're going to catch Umar Johnson sooner or later with that snow bunny. He says snow bunnies never, but look, yeah. Okay, you go ahead and say that. Those are the worst. Look, the ones that are just totally crazy pro-black are the ones that desire Becky the most. I'm just saying. And it goes the other way with black women too. I'm just saying. I've seen some things. Hey, Indiana Mom. Obama, MLK, Malcolm X, yeah. Look, it's true. And I'm not against that. Look, if a black man falls in love with a black woman and she falls in love with him, I'm all for it. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? If it's true love, nothing's wrong with it, okay? But when you do it for a status or to get back at black women or stick it to the white man, and really getting a Becky ain't doing nothing to white men. We don't care. We stopped caring in 1975. We stopped caring about, like, okay, black men, go get you a Becky. Congratulations. And we'll give you that white privilege card you can carry when you're with your Becky. We'll give you the platinum plan. Okay, that's, but anyway, and the crazy thing is white men open up their options regardless of the race of woman. We do better than with our own. Really, did you know that? That kind of blew my mind because there's good white women out there. There are. There's some bad ones too, but that kind of blew my mind. But did you know black women do better when they open up their options with other men? And when we do the best is black women, white men. So what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm just saying. Anyway, let's continue.
It's over 360,000 people a day. Guys, it's Friday. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And look at how many people are out here. And again, who am I to speak on it? I'm a kind, loving, good, compassionate person.
Okay, let's stop there. Enough of his opinion. Okay. He thinks it's beautiful. Okay. She could have been dressed better. I'm just saying. Better image. Because what are people going to see in that statue? And you shouldn't judge a group of people by a statue. But people will. They're weird like that. They'll say, oh, this is a black woman? Okay, she don't look like she has a bra on. She got boots on. She looks like she just got out of bed. And they're going to believe black women are like that, which they're not. It would probably be better to put a statue of a black woman that was famous, that looked dressed nice, that had dignity, that you could look up to and respect. I'm just saying, that's just my opinion. I think if we're going to do a statue of a black woman, we need to make her spectacular. Okay? Because black women are truly spectacular. Black women are amazing. Let's show that amazing black woman. She could be plus size. That's okay. She could be skinny too. But let's show her the black woman in her true image. Let's show the black woman being professional, looking, dressing nice like black women do. There's no other women that knows how to dress like black women do. And look, when you got a black wife, she knows how to dress you too. I'm just saying. Black women are really into fashion. They're really into their hair. Black women are into makeup and how they look. Black women really care about how they look. This does not represent the black woman. Okay? It really doesn't. Now, maybe it represents a black woman that just got out of bed and throw a t-shirt on and watch TV. Maybe. But not out in public. I'm just saying.
Who loves everybody and wants people to be happy.
Okay, let's bring this down. Okay. There's this next video I want to show you, and this is this black woman's opinion. And then she's got a statue of it's kind of controversial. She got a statue with George Floyd with a pistol in his hand. I don't know. But anyway, tell me what you think of this.
Statue, when I first saw it, my first reaction was like, wow.
Look at the background. That's George Floyd. There's a pistol in his hand wrapped around this woman. Giant bronze statue. I don't know if that's a joke or what. But anyway, let's rewind.
When I look at this statue, when I first saw it, my first reaction was like, wow. Like they put me in the middle of Times Square. There is beauty in the everyday. There are everyday people who look just like her. I look like her. There are lots of people who look like her, who do extraordinary things in this world.
Right. Now, I get what she's saying. There's beauty in every day, right? And this woman down here, she looks like a beautiful black woman. Okay. I get what she's saying, but would she come out there with a shirt without a bra on? Would she be wearing some boots? Would she? I get the everyday black woman. I get that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but make her more classy is what I'm saying. I get it. She sees herself in this, right? Because she looks at herself as average. She looks at a statue as average. But maybe the man that falls in love with her will see her as the most beautiful woman on earth. Okay? I get that. We celebrate the everyday person, right? Not everybody looks beautiful and looks like a supermodel. I get that. I understand what they're trying to do, but they didn't do it the right way, in my opinion. Okay? Let's continue.
Who are making families run well, communities run well. People who look like her are feeding folks, clothing folks, housing folks, running businesses. I don't understand why we always have to be extra polished, extra manicured, and extra shiny for us to be represented. What's wrong with everyday people being center stage in art? What is wrong with everyday people being on the front cover of magazines? What is wrong with a statue in the middle of Times Square that look like a large portion of the people who live in that place? Like, what is wrong with that? I'm just so sick of everything having to be filtered and photoshopped.
I get her point, but I don't think it's about being filtered and photoshopped. There's just some things in the statue they should have. when they were trying to make her look so natural and an average woman, they probably should have, I don't know, adjusted some areas. I'm not saying make her look glamorous and over polished, but a little more professional. Okay, you can be an everyday attire and be professional. You can be in t-shirts and the jeans and be professional. Okay, the thing without the bra, I did not like that. Okay, that's just me. The boots she was wearing, I like that kind. That's kind of masculine. That's just me. Okay, I'm just. This is what I see. Okay, and I get where they came from with the statue. I get it. I understand it. The woman don't look bad at all in the statue. Okay, I have no problem with how they made her. Okay, she's plus size. That's great. That's cool. No problem. But her shirt and you know what I'm saying, right? Let me see. I'd choose Malcolm over Martin Luther King any day. FBI said MLK and Malcolm looked like an angel according to their family life. Okay. I think Malcolm X had more character. I do. And look, I'm a Christian. Okay. And Malcolm X was a Muslim, but I think he had more character when it comes to family and just he did. I don't think Malcolm X ever stepped out on his wife. I think he was really dedicated and loved his wife. And Martin Luther King, I'm sure he loved his wife, but he did have extramarital affairs. Okay. The movement needed to happen because we were in such a racist society. We couldn't go on, mistreating black people. We needed to fix it. So the movement was needed. I think Malcolm X had more character. Okay. They all have the white worship to some degree at some point, it seems. Maybe. I don't know what you're talking about with that. You're talking about features, how people look? I don't know. Would they have made a white woman statue like that? I think they would put more glamour into it. Anyway, okay. It's not wrong to be not polished, but it feels like a race to the bottom with ill-feeling clothes. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's okay not to be polished, but I get what you're saying. Why did their clothes have to be like that? You'd be a plus size woman, everyday woman, and you can have decent clothes. You didn't have to do the top without the bra. I mean, that was, and the boots. That just, to me, well, that's just my mindset. I'm thinking, okay, everyday black woman. Okay, I get it. Celebrate the everyday woman, that not everybody looks like a supermodel. I get it. And I think the beauty in the everyday black woman is not so much how she looks, but what's inside her heart. Okay? Because even a black woman that's plus size is very beautiful. Black women are the most beautiful women on earth. Even that average everyday black woman's beautiful. Truly is. But I just think they needed to rethink this. I'm okay with everyday woman, right? Because this woman here on this video, she identifies with that. She said it was like it was me. Like, I'm part of it too. And just because you're not a supermodel don't mean you don't have value. I get that. But anyway, what do you guys think? He did make a white woman statue in London. I think the statue was small framed and had a softer expression in the face. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that. I'll look it up. And did this white woman statue, did she have a shirt where it looked like she didn't have a bra on? Was she, I guess she wasn't plus size, she's skinny? Did people have the same reaction on the white woman statue that they did of the black woman in Times Square? I just wonder. I haven't seen that other statue. I just seen this, and I know it's been, people have been going in on this and making a big deal out of it. And I'm like, and I looked into it. I'm like, okay, so it's a woman that's a plus size, but an everyday black woman. And you shouldn't, and I get it, embrace that, okay? But then I looked at the statue a little closer, and okay, she don't look like she has a bra on. And I'm saying this over and over, but listen to me out. She don't look like she has that. She looked like she had, to me, those things are not feminine. And the stereotype that people try to push that black women are masculine, that statue kind of pushes that, in my opinion. Now, black women I know are the most feminine women ever. So that stereotype, I never bought into. I never seen it. She looked to be her early 20s and had a smug lifting pants blouse and was looking at her cell phone. Oh, okay. I don't know. What do you think about the statue, guys? Do you think it was a beautiful thing that celebrated the everyday black woman, or do you think it was a little over the top and fed into some stereotypes? Because that's what I seen. I seen that when I took a second look. I was like, okay, the body shape, that didn't look bad. The feature of the statue, I'm okay with. But when I looked at the shirt and the boots, it just, to me, it didn't give out a good image on black women. I'm just saying. Okay, it's not what I see in black women, and I'm talking about the everyday average black woman. Okay, I'm not talking about the black woman that's glamorous and a supermodel and famous. I'm talking about the everyday black woman that I see. I just think they played on the stereotypes a little bit more than they should have. Show the average woman, but make her classy, okay? And it's okay to put a little glamour to her, because black women do have that glamour, okay? I think it needed to be a little more respectful, in my opinion, okay? We need to respect black women, okay? Black women are the most unprotected. Whose responsibility is that to fix it? It's men's, right? All men. If we seen a woman in danger, okay, as a man, you should protect her, regardless if she looks like you or not, right? If a woman's getting assaulted, wouldn't you step in, right? Or would you say, well, I'm a white guy, that's a black woman. Hey, Tyrone, that's your business. See ya. No. That's a woman that needs help. Protecting women is everybody's responsibility. And black women is our responsibility, whether you date them or marry them or not. They're in our country. They live in our home, right? They live in our neighborhoods. They're part of our country. We got to protect them, okay? As we should protect all women and respect all women, okay? Somebody said that I was, made the comment that called me a racist because they said I was more critical to black men than white women, okay? Because I don't go in on white women all the time. I guess they felt I was racist because I need to be objective. If I read stats on marriage, I should go in on white women, right? And I do. I tell stats about white women and marriages, and I've said, hey, us white men, we do better when we open up our options. Does that mean I hate white women? No, of course not. I have love and respect for white women, okay? My mother's a white woman. The women in my family are white women. I love them. I don't want to attack them. You know, it just so happens that my heart belongs to a black woman. That's it. When it comes to love and marriage, black women are my preference, okay? But I don't hate other groups of women. Why would I do that? I don't know where people get the idea because you're in an interracial relationship that you got to have a negative outlook on other women. Like, what? That's stupid. You go with your preference, and there's a reason black women are my preference. Not only are they the most beautiful, but they're the most loving, most kind women, most understanding women. It's a no-brainer for me. But I don't hate other women. I see beauty in all women. Okay? But I want people to understand that my love for black women came out of love. It didn't come out of hate. It didn't come out of rejection. It didn't come out of some crazy feelings. It came out of love. Black women, I could see the beauty in black women as a child. Black women touch my heart. And when they touch my heart belongs to black women. But I do love all women. When it comes to having a wife, it's got to be the black woman. I'm just saying. And that's who I'm married to. And it's not a fetish. It's not a lustful desire like people want to make it out to be. It's true love. Love that comes within. And I have the maturity and I can see the truth where the best option is. And it happens to be the black woman. But I don't hate other people because the black woman is the best option. Okay? I just got to make that point because people misunderstand me. They think, oh, you're with a black woman. You don't like white women. No, that ain't true at all. Oh, well, you're racist because you don't go in on white women. No, that ain't true. My heart belongs to the black woman. What can I say? And if you get into an interracial relationship, it's got to be built on love, not built on anger towards a group of women. If you have anger, if you're a white guy and you have anger towards white women for some reason, don't go date interracially. Don't do it. Now, if the black woman is truly your preference and that's who you love, go for it. But don't date out because of spite. Okay? Don't date out because you want to experience something different. No. Open up your options because that's what you want to do. That's where your heart is. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to close this soon. Guys, but I'm telling you, have that option button open. Okay? Only date out if you're strong enough to. That means you would cast anybody aside for the one you love. That includes your mother, father, brother, and sister. Okay? If you don't have the strength to do that, don't do it. I'm not saying you're going to have to do it. I didn't have to cast out my family. They were perfectly fine with my wife. But if they weren't, they're done. It's too easy. Because I love my wife more than any other person in the world. And she's more important than any other person in the world. So if you don't feel that way, don't open up your options. You got to be all in. You got to be ready to be attacked. You got to deal with racist people on both ends. I'm just saying. And yeah, white people could be mean and brutal, but so can black people. And you got to be strong enough to take it and protect each other. If not, you're going to fail. I'm just saying. Even in today's world where it's accepted, there's still evil people that want to destroy your relationship, that want to take away the blessing that you have. I'm just saying. But anyway, let me go ahead and close this. We've been on an hour and a half. I'm going to have more news reportings like tonight, news stories. Okay? So if you like this type of stuff, I'm going to do it. There's so many news stories I can do. I think I'll probably do this on Mondays. Monday would be a good day for it. And then Saturday Night Swirl is the big show. Okay? And this week coming up, okay, I got a good show. It's going to be awesome. Come and join it. I will drop the link if you want to come up. And I'm going to talk about pick me compliance and flying first class. And the thing of it is we know what pick me's are, right? We know what pick me compliance is, right? A pick me is somebody that is desperate for a man, right? That will do anything to get that man, will sacrifice her standards, will attack other people to be with that man, that will she just wants to be picked no matter what. That's a pick me. Okay? Pick me's can be very dangerous and violent. They really can. Okay? We're going to talk about that. Now, there are pick me's in every racial group. There are white women are desperate for a man, and Asian women too, that they'll go to the extreme. Pick me compliance is extremely dangerous. Okay? And sometimes women fall into that pick me compliance and, for a while, and then they see the truth and they get out of it. Okay? Now, just because someone's a pick me don't mean they're dangerous. They want to be picked. Okay? And I'm not saying that someone that just don't want to be loved and picked. Everybody wants to be picked and loved, but pick me's are in the extreme. Okay? They will lower their standards. They will date down. They will marry down to have that man. They're desperate. They're pick me's. Okay? And we see them all the time. But you could either choose that route or you can be first class. You can put yourself first. You can have self-love and, have your standards. And you don't have to date and marry down. And keep your standards till you find that first class man, that you can have that first class status. Okay? Ladies, especially black women, you are so beautiful and amazing. You have so much to offer. Do not give yourself up to a man that don't deserve you. Okay? And I know people get lonely. We're human. But have your standards. Love yourself enough to get the best. And to get the best, you don't have to be a supermodel. You don't have to look like Angela Bassett in her prime. You can be an everyday black woman. okay? And you can have the best. You just got to have your standards, okay? And I would say to all women, you can be average and have the best. Men too. Pygmies have to pick themselves first. Pick themselves up first. Yeah. Do not, ladies, do not sacrifice to have a man, because men, unless we're held accountable and we have character, we're no good. I'm going to just say it. You coddle a man, you'll destroy that man. And you'll destroy your relationship too. Okay? Us as men, we're hard-headed. We got to be held accountable. We really do. And look, I look at my life and the dumb stuff I've done and how my father was tough on me. But it's all about accountability. And when you don't have accountability, you're no good. Because without accountability, you can't get better. You can't get rid of your faults. But anyway, we're going to talk about pick-me's and flying first class. Pick-me compliance. Do not get caught up in pick-me compliance. Ladies, you can date any man you want. Okay? Don't think you're just held to the black community and that's all you got. No, you can go anywhere you want. Okay? And I encourage you to have that option. Okay? Everybody has a preference, and I can't tell you you need to go here and there. That's up to you. But because of the numbers, because black women outnumber black men more by over 2 million, and black men are the ones that will date and marry out the most. So you do the math. Okay? Are you okay opening up your options? Or do you only have attraction to black men? If that's the case, stay in your community and pray for the best. Those that are okay with opening up your options, do it. And do not shame women for opening up their options. That is the most awful, evil thing you can do. It's not up to you to pick who loves who. It's up to that individual. We don't belong to anybody, and nobody belongs to us. Okay? You don't owe nobody anything, black women. You don't. The only person you owe anything to is yourself. Do the best for you. But we'll talk about that later. I don't want to get too wrapped up. Okay? But I'll see you guys Saturday Night Swirl. I got a video I'm going to put up before then. Yeah. And it's going to be a good one. But Saturday Night Swirl, pick me compliance, or fly in first class, or first class status. Okay? You want first class status? You're a first class lady. You deserve the best. Don't let nobody tell you you don't. Okay? And because you have a child, don't take away your value. So don't buy into that crap either. Okay? And look, white men are more open to marrying women that have children than black men are. I can confidently say that. And anybody can challenge me on that if they want to. But yeah, we're more open to it. And in fact, white men are more open to marrying black women with black children than white women with biracial children. You know that? It's true. And, there's more into that. I call it the Becky return policy. and I don't mean it in a mean way, but it's the truth. When white women open up their options and come back, they don't get the same value, the same results. They just don't. Look at Kim Kardashian. When she went with Kanye West and tried to date white men, they weren't having her. And I think she was trying to get with Elon Musk or something, or some of these millionaires. And I think She is flirting around with what's his name, that quarterback from the Patriots. What? God, I can't even think of his name. But he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, white guy. I think she was trying to get with him. He's like, They just don't have the same status. But I could talk about that another day. But, you know, things are the way they are. But do never date or marry down. And have that option button open. Ladies, I hope you enjoyed the show. Ladies and gentlemen. And the guys out there, look. If you want to be with a black woman, that's great. As long as you love her, you want her to be your wife. Okay? I do not support hookups. I don't support men that want to see what it's like to be with a black woman. Don't come here with that mess. Okay? Don't come here wanting me to talk about sexual things. No. The only time I'm going to talk about sex is when I give advice that you should wait till you're married to have sex. That's as far as I go with it. Okay? I'll talk more about that. I got some comments, guys. I'm going to share with you. I got some hateful comments. I got a white supremacist that gave me a rude comment. And I got some others that are crazy. And I'm going to share that with you. But we're going to talk about Saturday Night Swirl. We're going to talk about pick me compliance and first class status. What do you want, ladies? The best is the hardest, okay? Being first class, you got to have high standards. Don't fall into pick me compliance, okay? You're better than that, okay? Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I gotta get ready for bed. I gotta go to work tomorrow. But I'll see you guys Saturday night. Keep an eye out for my video. And I'm sorry about the problems I had with the video quality at first. I've had some internet problems. I got new providers coming in. I'm trying to get the best internet I can. But I'm in a very new community that's just developing, so we don't have all the stuff that we would have in the city, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, have a good night. Let me go ahead and say a prayer before we go, and I'll see you on Saturday Night Swirl, okay? Lord, thank you tonight for this show. And Lord, I pray that you continue to give me the opportunity to come up here on YouTube and to express how I feel and to promote people to open up their options and find true love that will last. And Lord, I pray that you bless each and every one up here today. Bless their husbands, their wives, their children. Bless their family. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, so I'll see you guys Saturday night. Okay? Have a good night. All right, ladies. Okay? This news show, guys, just think about it. There's fraud out there. There's scammers. Be careful. Never give up your information over the phone. The bank will not call you for information. Okay, if somebody says they're from your bank and ask you questions, hang up and call your bank. Okay? The IRS will never call you asking you for money, too. That's another scam. Okay? They'll send you a letter. All right? If you win a lottery, you don't have to pay taxes up front. That's a lie. That's a scam. Be careful. Okay? And anybody that says they love you and you have not met them in person, they don't love you. Okay? Don't get caught up in a catfishing scheme. Okay? This old guy we talked about, 92, lost his life savings because he was in love with somebody that didn't exist. Be careful. Okay? Now, most of us wouldn't fall for this stuff. But you get lonely, your heart's, you know, you never know. Just be careful. All right? Be careful of the scams. These dastardly dusty dumplings will rip you off in a heartbeat. Okay? The best way to vet a man, okay, is do things biblically. Okay? You don't give your body to him unless you're married. Okay? I know a lot of people say, wait, you Roadrunner, it ain't like that. Can't do that. Okay, well, I'm just saying that's the best way. Because if a man truly loves you, he'll wait to touch you till the love is true. Okay? Because most of these people that are pimping players and hit and run guys, if they don't get access to you a lot of times right away, they'll go somewhere else. Be patient. Okay? Don't think you got to give your body to a man to get him to love you. Because he either loves you or he don't, whether he touches you or not. He either loves you or he doesn't. And you can't make someone love you. And you can't change nobody. Okay? Keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, have a good night. God bless you and your families. I'll see you Saturday night. It'll be about the same time, about 10 p.m. Okay? Have a good night. God bless.